Among those things which weigh down the human spirit and cause people to question God's benevolence or even his existence, war is very high up on the list. War causes injury, disease, and death, destroys civilizations, and has an after effect which can blight whole generations. War is a sign and a chief example of the human sin of which we are called to repent. And yet, like so much else in human experience, war is not totally evil. We know that goodness and virtue are not totally absent, even from the direst and most terrible of situations. And the same is true of war. In war, people learn to trust comrades in arms upon whom their life depends. People make sacrifices for the common good and forge bonds across class divisions. In war, we really are all in this together, and this was especially true of the home front during the Second World War, when many civilians faced dangers similar to those faced by combatants, and everyone shared danger, shortages, and hardship. And the fact remains too that many scientific, medical, and technological advances forged in war have been turned to peaceful uses after the war, to the great benefit of humanity. But sadly, it has been observed how many of those wartime values of community, mutual support, and cheerfulness in adversity, and solidarity across so many divisions, have gradually lost their hold on the nation in the years since the Second World War. This isn't a perfect world. It seems to be a world where good often arises out of a response to what is not good. We can't really say why that is, other than by saying that's the way the world is, or that's the way God has created the world. It seems that, alongside much of what we call senseless suffering, what we call good in men and women often arises out of the way that we deal with or respond to those things we call evil. And why that should be so is a mystery. It's an imperfect world, but at the same time a world of great beauty and goodness. That's the puzzle or the mystery of human experience, including the experience of war. And that's the puzzle that human life places before us. So on Armistice Day and Remembrance Sunday, there's a lot to remember. The heroism and self-sacrifice on the battlefield, the community spirit and the sharing of hardship at home, the hopes never fully realized of a better world post-war. Yet it remains true that the suffering war causes is often cited as one of the reasons why people do not believe in God. An alternative response is to say that war reveals how much the world needs God and how far humanity has departed from what God intends for us. War reveals how much we need to listen to the message of peace that God has sent to us, how much we must overcome divisions and hatred and fear of one another. So is there an answer to the question of suffering in the world, to which war is such a major contributor? There may not be an explanation, but perhaps there can be a response. Maybe the most important question is not why has something happened, but how will we respond? First, we must be able to forgive the world and other human beings for not being perfect, even to forgive God for not making a better world. Can we forgive the world for being a world in which there is so much cruelty and suffering? Can we forgive its imperfections and love it because it is capable of containing great moral and physical beauty, and because it is the only world we have? Are we capable of forgiving and loving the people around us, even if they let us down by not being perfect? Because the ability to love and the ability to forgive are the weapons God has given us to enable us to live fully and bravely in our less than perfect world. All we can do is to reach out to the people around us and go on living despite it all. Perhaps we need to take more seriously and at a deeper level that old wartime advice, keep calm and carry on. Experiences like the experience of war have sometimes led to deeper wisdom, an awareness of the true value of love in an imperfect world. In the face of the tragedies of the world, public and private, love will be most true to itself, most free when it is offered to others, to the world and to God, in spite of suffering, injustice and death. We love God, not because he protects us from all harm, but because he is the creator of all the beauty and order around us, the source of the strength and hope within us, and the source of other people's strength and hope and courage with which they can help and comfort us. So we come before God in a mood of penitence that we have recourse to war so many times, in sorrow to and in homage to those who paid the price of war. However, despite that pessimistic assessment of the human condition, something inside all human beings longs for peace, yearns for peace. War maybe is inevitable, but it does not satisfy the human heart, and it troubles the human conscience. And the very fact that we rebel against war tells us something. The fact that we do not accept war as normal, however normal it has become, tells us that we are made for better things. And our destiny lies in a better world. Our destiny is in the new and eternal Jerusalem, the city of peace. And we should not cease from mental fight, as the hymn says, until this world bears a closer resemblance to the eternal and heavenly city of peace. Our resolve will always be to seek for ways of asserting justice and right without reliance upon force or war. Hope there must be that seemingly endless procession of wars and rumours of wars will end, and the reign of the Prince of Peace will dawn upon us from on high.